Hey everybody, Aaron Blaze here. It is Friday, March 4th, and we are back for another live stream. Today we're going to do some traditional painting, and when I say painting, we're painting huge. I'm going to be working on the largest watercolor I've ever done. It's 42 inches by 30 inches. It takes up my entire drawing table. And I started it a couple days ago, and I thought, you know what? It'd be great for the live stream. Plus, if I don't keep working on it, I'll never get it done. So we're just going to keep going. But anyway, we'll talk about it as we go. I'm painting this big leopard and thought it would be fun to do. So there we are. Before we get started on that, we've got our normal housekeeping things to cover. We got a couple sales going on today, Nick.
We have our 8-year anniversary sale is what we have going on.
8 years.
8 years since we launched the modern iteration of our website. If you go
Has
to,
it been 8 years?
yeah, if you go over to creatureartteacher.com, it's our 8-year, 8-day, $8 sale. Basically,
Seems like it's been 10.
yeah, the website's. Let's see, it feels like 100.
Feels like 100.
Feels like a century.
Basically, if you go to the website, everything on the site is 30% off or more, and a bunch of the classes are just $8, as well as some photo packs and brush sets and all kinds of stuff. So if you head over to creatureartteacher.com, there's a link right at the top that'll take you all the sale items, and I'll post it in the comments as well.
There you go. So obviously we've got Dustin with us, we got Nick with us, we got me,
Yo.
and we're going to be painting and answering your questions. And like I said, I'm working on my biggest watercolor piece ever. This is a big 350-pound watercolor paper. I think that's the weight, 350. When you call it that's the weight of a ream of paper. When you see watercolor paper and they give the weight, all that means is that's how much a ream of it weighs. So obviously the higher the number, the thicker the paper. So this is very heavy. It's like cardboard. And I like to get, especially when I do big paintings like this, I like to get the really heavy paper because it won't buckle as much. It'll really take a lot of water before it buckles out of control. If this was small, thinner paper, it would be just all buckling all over. And it would be really hard to control the pooling and all that kind of stuff. And so I like to get the big, if I'm going big like this, I like to go really, really heavy. As heavy as I can. If I could go heavier, I would, but this is as heavy as they make, or at least for this size paper. So anyway, what I've done, if you look at this, especially in the grasses, I've laid down a layer of liquid frisket. And so that's what this is here. This is made by Winsor Newton. It's actually made by several different companies. I got another brand right here, made by Incredible White Mask. And all it is, it's basically rubber cement. Not rubber cement, but it's a latex base, and you paint it on, goes onto the paper, and it'll mask out any paint that goes over the top of it. And what I want is, because the grasses there's some dying brown grasses in here, and they're going to be light over dark. And so rather than having to paint around every blade, which would be insanely impossible, I lay down the frisk instead, and I can paint all my darks, then pull the frisket up, and I'll have all this light areas that didn't get painted. Then I can go into that and paint it, and I'll have light over dark. That's if you're painting traditional transparent watercolor, which is what I'm doing. I still might put in some opaque colors, like the whiskers, maybe a few extra paint grasses here and there. But by and large, I'm going to treat this all traditional, which is transparent, and just build up the layers. I'm building up from light to dark. Okay, that's what you do with traditional transparent watercolor. With watercolor, traditional watercolor, you can't really paint any kind of light color over dark. You can't. It's not like acrylic or gouache or oil. It just doesn't have that. It doesn't have that ability. So there's that. Also, I like to go, even though it's a somewhat tight painting. I like to still, especially with large paintings, I like to treat it somewhat painterly. I like leaving the pencil lines in there. I like having everything kind of loose, but it works together. It just gives the painting a little bit of energy. So you'll see the pencil work and all that. I like that, and I'm going to keep that in there. So in case you are wondering, that's what I'm doing. And also, I've got reference right here. So this is reference for the cat pose. These are photos that Dustin shot in Africa back in September, and then I took another pose because I liked some of the details on the head. I blew it up, and so I'm using that as some reference for the head up here. This initial layer that I've put down, it's not quite rich enough yet. It's just basically there just to show me where I want my warms and cools. But I'm going to go in, as you can see in the head, there's a little bit more rich color, darker color, and I'm going to be working that all the way through the body. The spots that you see on the head are just an initial pass. One of the things that I'm trying that I really have never done in the past, I've done a little bit, but I really wanted to give it a shot, is I'm working with sumi brushes, which are Japanese and Chinese calligraphy brushes. They hold a lot of water, and you can get some really nice line work with them. This is one that I ordered, and I just got it in the other day. It worked great for laying stuff down, but this is what happened when I ordered it. It came broken. So that annoyed me a little bit. So I ordered another one, and it's supposed to be coming in today. Luckily, I don't have to use this one today. And then I've got these other ones that I'm using. These are 3 different sizes. And these work great for little detail areas for, I keep thinking that, I forget that the camera is super wide. But I've got these, should I hold them up to the camera in front of me?
Yeah,
How's that? Is that better?
a little better.
And these are all, once again, these are sumi brushes. They're not expensive at all. It's not like it's not a $200 sable brush. These are about $10, $15 a piece. So they're a little rough, but they do the job. And especially with something like this big, I don't need a super fine. I want to be kind of impressionistic with it, even with watercolor. So I find that the sumi brushes are really great for that. And
Are
then
you
I've got-
returning that broken brush?
No, it was only a $13 brush, and so it's just not worth my time. It was a $13 brush, so unless you think it's worth my time, Nick, I wasn't going to do it.
I mean, if you can still use it, then keep it. But otherwise, yeah.
Well, the good thing is that it's a clean break. All I need to do is glue it.
Oh,
So I'm just going to glue it.
actually, we got gaffer tape. That's what that's.
Hey, there you go. We got gaffer tape. There you go.
Yeah,
That's it.
80% of the time works every time.
That's right. And then I've also got, because I want to continue to work big. I ordered these, and I got this, and I got a big butcher pan as well. You can see that over there. But I got these little, they're like ramekins basically, where I can put lots of color and do some big paint that way. So I ordered a whole bunch of stuff that I just want to try. Oh, and also Chinese calligraphy ink. It's waterproof, or at least it's supposed to be, once it dries, and I want to try that on some of the spots.
You should do a test before you
Oh,
put
I'm
it on the
definitely going to do
painting.
a test for sure. So, but there's that. I'm not going to be using the the ink today anyway. We're just going to be working our way through, and so there you go. So that's what I've got. This painting is going to take a good week to get done, especially when I get into the grasses and all that. I got to make sure I'm getting the shadows and I'm building it up the right way, and it's going to be an experience. And I'm also using this brush right here, which is just a little, it's number 6 round. This comes to a nice point and it gets some nice detail in there. So that's what I'm going to be working on right now. I think I've talked enough. And I'm going to get in here and just start working away. Hope you guys have had a great week. How we doing?
We did lose the.
I'm still recording, so it's more important.
Is it more important to record or show the palette?
It's more important to record.
Okay, so just move the palette off and then just.
Yeah, so I'm also recording this as a YouTube video, and so unfortunately because we have so many cameras going, we lost the palette, so I'm not going to be able to show the palette today. If you're wondering, I'm mainly just going between warm and cool. My cool being ultramarine and Payne's gray, and my warms being yellow ochre and cadmium red and cad orange, and different combinations of those. But because I want to do a YouTube video time lapse of the entire process, I just can't. I'm not going to be able to show you the palette.
Was Saber and Tarzan, was that a leopard or a jaguar?
Jaguars are South American, so it would be a leopard. Although I felt like it looked like the way it was designed, it felt like a cheetah to me. And so that I thought was strange when I saw it, and then I realized, oh no, it's a leopard. They meant for it to be a leopard.
Question: have you given any thought to doing a future course on translating human expressions onto animal characters, both semi-realistic and anthropomorphized? I can't find anyone who teaches about this.
Oh, no, I've never thought about that, but that's a really cool idea for a course. I don't know that there's a lot. I mean, it could be a very short course, like a few hours, but I definitely could do that.
Austin on YouTube wants to know, have you ever tried Conte crayons? It's a really interesting medium.
Oh yeah, matter of fact, I was using Conte crayons over during our live event last weekend when we were doing the figure drawing.
Marco Tattoo on YouTube says, you should try one day to paint with tattoo ink diluted with water. It's like watercolor and very vibrant.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Do you want to go to Brazil and visit the Amazon rainforest, especially in Pantanal?
Yes. I always have been.
Twitch comment, someone says, this is an amazing painting. I need to practice my watercolors. Well, one thing I'd like to say on that is if you are interested in learning more about watercolors, Aaron has a full watercolor class that's part of our 8-year anniversary sale. It's only $8 right now. So
Yep. Yep, it's a full deal.
it is
It's an introduction to watercolor.
it's a 12-hour course.
Watercolor is the first medium that I learned as a kid.
And somebody noticed the wolf pelt behind you, said, and commented saying, nice wolf pelt.
Well, first of all, it's a wolf that died of natural causes because there's people that get all hung up, mad at me about having a pelt up there. But yes, it is a wolf pelt, and it's very cool. And it serves that, I use it as reference when I'm painting wolf fur and that sort of thing. And, all the skulls and the pelts, and they all come in handy for that sort of thing.
Actually, my own question, did you ever use the wolf pelt or any other forms of fur as foundation for your fur brush set?
No. That's a cool idea. So I'm going between warm and cool with the texture.
And Caroline Wilson just hopped on, and so is Erica Bates here. Zunty's here.
Hey, everybody.
I see that you are fascinated with wildlife and exotic animals and also drawing them. When did this interest start? When you were young or sometime during your career?
No, it started. It's the first thing I remember drawing. I mean, I've always been extremely fascinated with animal and nature art. My family is all. My father was, a hunter, and not that I was never a hunter. I couldn't do it, but I would sit. My father would be a duck hunter. Was a duck hunter as well. And he would carve decoys, for when he would go out to hunt. And so he would sit in the garage at night, making his decoys, and I would sit out the garage with him when I was a little boy, I was about 5, 6 years old, and I would go through all of his duck books, and I remember learning every North American duck by the time I was like 6 years old, and I was drawing them, and I was just fascinated by them. And so that was my introduction to kind of animal art and bird art, was My father was a member of Ducks Unlimited, which is a kind of a conservation group with duck hunting. And so I know it sounds weird, conservation with duck hunting, but they conserve wetlands and whatnot for breeding and everything else. And so I remember they would get Ducks Unlimited magazine, and there was always some really great art in there. And so I would go in and copy the images.
From CH Descheper says, "Hi, thank you. The book has arrived today in Belgium."
Oh my gosh, really? Oh, you must have been a later one. Yeah. That's awesome.
And Becky Lockley says, "Hope you all had a good week."
We had a great week.
And
Speaking
from,
of Belgium, Nick and I might be in Belgium in April.
Twitch question: do you have any copies of your old Florida's Colorful Critters coloring book?
I do.
You can still get that on Amazon.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that was a freelance job that I did when I was in college. I was 18 years old when I did that job, and it's still floating around.
It's still in print, I think.
Yeah.
And from Casper, what big cats are your favorite to sketch and why?
Well, any big cat. I love, any cats with markings like tigers and leopards and cheetahs and that sort of thing. I just like the drama of that. But I love lions and, they're all a lot of fun to draw.
YouTube comment: I didn't realize you had so many courses on your site. I'm definitely going to get the annual membership now. Looks like a great value. It is.
It is. It's the best value in art.
Yeah, we're now over 500 hours of art and animation lessons on the site, and growing all the time. And basically what's cool about the annual membership is if you become a member, it's not a subscription like, when the subscription expires, you lose your access. With our membership, you get to keep everything as long as you've got for the time your membership was active. So if you sign up today, you get everything we released that's available on the site now, plus everything we put out over the next year is yours to keep and download.
Yep.
So,
and you keep it forever.
yeah. Have you ever drawn a snake or a newt?
Yes. There you go.
Lewis says, Aaron, by using a combination of your wolves and big cat courses, I've finally been getting my illustrations of thylacines to move in a positive direction. Have you ever drawn a thylacine?
Yes. I have.
What's a thylacine?
Isn't it a thylacine a saber-toothed cat?
Probably.
What was the?
Oh, no. The thylacine is like, it looks like a Tasmanian dog, sort of. It's
thylacine. It's a Tasmanian wolf. Sorry.
Tasmanian tiger or whatever.
Yeah. Which I've drawn them as well. Too. Yes.
Yeah, there was recently some video footage of that floating around.
Yeah, there's still a lot of debate as to whether or not they're truly extinct in Tasmania.
Question: in watercolor, how do you, when you have to paint complementary color? Sorry, in watercolor, when you have to paint complementary colors, how do you avoid them turning gray?
I layer them, so I glaze them. I keep them pure. Like in this case, I'm doing ultramarine and Payne's gray as my cool, and then cadmium orange and cadmium red along with ochre as my warm. And I make sure that I paint them separately and glaze over the top of them. And you'll be surprised at how well they layer. Now, if I were to mix them when they're wet, it just turns gray. It just turns to mud. So I make sure not to do that.
One last thing on the membership. Julia says, this is the second year I've renewed my membership, and I can say it's so worth it. Every morning before work, I sip on my coffee and I take a lesson. It's helped me so much.
Oh, that's great.
They're on sale right now for our anniversary sale as well.
So normally I would say don't paint every hair, and I'm not painting every hair, But when I am painting, because it is so big, I'm painting fur texture. And I don't know if you can zoom. I guess we can't really zoom in on this, but
We could. I could get over.
That's okay. But I'm painting fur texture right now to get, and then the spots will go over the top of this and really pull it together.
What do you mean by glazing?
So glazing in watercolor is basically laying down a layer, and it's transparent, right? So when you glaze something, you can see through it. And so I lay down a layer, and I make sure it's transparent, and then I wait for it to dry, and then I lay down another layer. In this case, what I was talking about doing the complementary colors, I'm laying down either the warm first or the cool first, and then I lay the opposite down over that. And, you know, orange, basically orange is what I'm painting with, and blue are complementary colors. And so if you mix them on the palette, they cancel each other out and turn brown or gray in watercolor. In watercolor, they'll turn gray. But if you layer them one at a time, you get a nice, you'll be able to see both colors. It's interesting the way it works.
Isabel Garcia commented about that thing. Made me think of glazed donuts. Yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I got. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, from Alan Roll, are the references in your packs and references copyright protected?
Yes, to a degree. I mean, you can't. You can use them as reference for your own paintings.
You can't resell the images or republish the images themselves, but any
Right.
artwork you make, you're free to make any personal or commercial artwork based on them. You just can't redistribute or reprint the photographs themselves.
Which, by the way, is, you know, that's not the norm in the publishing. We're giving you a lot more than what you're normally allowed.
And a lot of our photo packs are also $8 right now. I got a bunch of really good related questions here to the drawing. Quick question. I know painting with what you have, you want to have good materials to work with, but I'm in a position where I need to watch my budget. What would you suggest is a good mix of quality and budget for paints and brushes?
Well, I would still stick with the name brands like Winsor Newton. Winsor Newton has a great variety of grades. So even their student grade, which is cheaper, is still a very good quality paint. So stick with the really good name brand paints, and the same with the brushes. I don't, as far as brushes go, I don't go out and buy the $300 or $400 sable brushes, because I'm pretty brutal with my brushes. And so find a brush, you know, a decent, like this one that I'm using right now is probably about a $20 brush. And I know it's going to wear out after a bit, and it won't, you know, but it'll do what it needs to do. Because I just don't, I'm not built to take care of my brushes the way I should.
Here's a couple animal questions. What's the correct way to render things with patterns? I notice you've put down the shadows before the spots, but I've seen other artists put down the spots and then the shadows and highlights.
I think it really depends on the medium that's being used too. So you got to think about that. In my case, I'm just building up from light to dark. So I'll probably, because the spots are so dark, I save those for last. Now other artists will do the opposite. It just depends on.
Well, you've laid in some already. I think that's what
Yes.
you're getting at. So,
Yeah.
But that's kind of the under.
But you'll see they're not that dark. I haven't got my darkest.
Right. I think that's
Yeah.
what they're not realizing. I was just gonna say they don't realize that's more like an underwash than the actual.
Exactly. So I'm actually gonna make sure to hit these so you can see how dark they're gonna go before I get into some of the other cat.
And then another Twitch question: who are some good artists to start looking at for animal drawing?
Joe Weatherly is a fantastic artist, contemporary artist now. As a matter of fact, he's got a Kickstarter for a animal drawing book that's come out. It's really, really good. He's a great artist. And then there's a lot of great contemporary just painters, animal artists like Robert Bateman and Bob Kuhn, who's passed away now, but just an incredible painter. John Mullane is a really great acrylic artist. Greg Beecham, who is a good friend of ours, is fantastic. Greg is one of my favorite painters out there. His oil painting style is just phenomenal, and I really love his work. Another older artist that's passed away, he painted in the turn of the century, was Carl Rungus. I'm a huge fan of Carl Rungus's work. So there's a lot out there.
And there's another great animal artist I think is out there. His name's Aaron Blaze, I think.
Yeah, we've
Wow,
got
thank
we've got hundreds of hours of animal drawing content on our website, creatureartteacher.com. Let's see.
Got your sandwich.
Okay.
The
I
line
can't,
was-
I can't eat it right
The
now.
line
but
was
thank
really
you.
long. I'm sorry.
How do you get so realistic in watercolor?
I just build up layer after layer. I stay very patient. You know, watercolor requires patience. That's the one thing it requires. And but one thing, another thing I love about watercolor is I can be really bold with it too. It really comes down to understanding the medium and embracing it, and also the tools you're using. Right now, I'm using small brushes, but I could get in here with big fat brushes and be really impressionistic with it, as long as I'm building it up the right way, and really have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, Dustin's going for a sandwich.
And
He's going to eat during the stream, everybody. So if you hear chewing, that's what it is.
He's going into the he's going into the meatball sub.
I know nothing to answer.
We usually have our lunch before our live stream, but we neglected to do that on this one.
we were in a
YouTube,
we were in a bit of a hurry.
sorry, YouTube question. Who are some of your favorite illustrators?
Illustrators of Wyeth, all three of the Wyeths.
Wait, there's
NC
three?
Wyeth,
I remember NC and Andrew. Who's the third?
Jamie, it's Andrew's son,
Okay.
and he was not really an illustrator. He was more of a fine artist.
I thought it was Harpo. Harpo Wyatt.
Yeah. All the classic illustrators, Rockwell, Pyle, just wonderful, amazing stuff. That I don't even consider them illustrators; they're painters, and then there's a lot of great animal artists that I love. But Joaquin Sorolla, great painter. John Singer Sargent. Matter of fact, John Singer Sargent's one of my favorite watercolor artists, although he's mainly known to be a oil painter, figurative oil painter. But his watercolors are just insane, and so I've been looking at his watercolors, just getting inspired before I started this one.
In acrylic painting, you can wait for the paint to dry. In watercolor, the paper absorbs the color so fast. How do you account for this?
It depends. It depends on the paper, because right now I'm not having that problem at all. That's why I work on. Not only do I use really good paint, I use really good paper, because there's bad paper out there too. And so I use Arches, and I order it right from the company.
From Becky, do you use watercolor tubes more or cotton
Tubes.
tubes?
Julia says, "Hey Dustin, I wanted you to know I'm looking at your photos now from the live costume figure workshop this weekend. They're amazing, especially Belle. Wow."
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we had our live costumed model workshop over the weekend. It went great. We had
That's right. We didn't. Yeah.
we had a couple of 100 people tune in for that live, and then a couple more that we're going to watch the replay later. And we included a couple of surprises. One was that everybody who participated got a photo reference pack from Dustin that he shot all of our models in their costumes, so they got additional detail photos of the fabrics and the folds and the materials. But we also had a really cool surprise. We had a production costume from the play Beauty and the Beast. So we had one of our models, Claudia. She did a wonderful job as basically she became Belle. So the last model of the day was Belle in her golden yellow gown, the ballroom scene. So it was a lot of fun to draw and paint, and everybody had a great time.
I
Yeah,
had
one of
a
my
blast.
favorites I got from that is the shot of Claudia as Belle in mid spin in the golden gown.
Yeah.
And man, did that come out great. Really happy with that.
Do we have a way to screen share what's on the screen right now, or no?
With what?
Not right this second, but I might be able to pull up some of the images.
Yeah, I can
Cool.
do that. Whenever you are ready. So.
One thing you also want to be careful with, because especially working big like this, you notice I'm kind of sitting I'm leaning. I've got my arm on the actual painting, and so you want to make sure you've got all your body grease and you're clean, because watercolor paper will really, especially with body grease, hand grease and all that, it'll pick it up. So if you wipe your face and pick up any face grease on your hand and then touch your paper, it'll pick that up. So you want to be careful about that.
Helen asks, right now, are you painting the shadows in the neck with blue?
I am. Yep, going right in there with ultramarine blue and I'm glazing over and letting that optically mix with the cadmiums, the orange and the reds and that sort of thing that I put in there.
Someone on Twitch, this stream looks really good. What cameras are you using? We use a Blackmagic 4K camera. Did you ever meet Scott Christensen, the landscape painter, in his visits to the Florida Disney studio?
Yes, I've met him very briefly. I didn't take his course because I was in the middle of doing other projects, but I got his books. A few of the guys, after he came to the Florida studio, went out to Colorado and did some painting with him.
Jay Mo on YouTube wants to know, where can I get your brush sets for Procreate? Well, if you go to creatureartteacher.com, all of our brush sets that are made for Photoshop, those will actually work in Procreate. You can import those into Procreate now. A lot of people don't realize that. You may have to tweak them a little bit to your settings, to your likeness. Or if you get Aaron's Procreate course, which is 30% off right now, we actually have a set of his most popular brushes have actually been optimized for Procreate, and they come with that course. So, and we plan on optimizing some of the other brushes over time. But right now you can import the Photoshop brushes as well.
And are the brush packs part of the 8-day sale?
Yes, they are.
8 days a week.
Do you prefer warm or cold press paper?
Cold press, because it's got the tooth. And that's something I should have mentioned. This is all cold press, so it's very. It's got lots of texture, and because of that, it controls the bleed. So with hot press, it just it's hard to control the bleed of the wet, especially if you're doing wet into wet. But when you have the texture, it controls it a little bit better.
No, I'll take it.
From Tim Hodge. Have you
Tim
tried-
Hodge?
Tim Hodge.
I can't stand that guy.
Have you tried M. Graham watercolors? They have honey mixed in. Great texture, slightly slower drying.
Oh no. Of course, that's from the Beekeeper. I've never heard of that. For those of you that don't know, Tim Hodge is one of our instructors. CreatureArtTeacher.com. It's awesome. And a beekeeper, or was a beekeeper.
And Tim Hodge's course, I believe his one on drawing cartoon animals is actually part of our sale as well. His $8, that course is only $8 right now.
Nice.
I don't know if you can hear me fat breathing, but I'm fat breathing right now.
When you went to Kenya, did you speak quietly when you saw leopards in the wild with the guide? Or like, what was your tone like when you saw leopards compared to the other?
We go, yo, what's up?
No, you could hear a pin drop. We were very quiet.
Very quiet.
What you heard was just the camera is just going.
Yeah.
That was probably the only sound. Nobody was really talking.
No. Well, we were talking. We were whispering a little bit, but
Yeah, but it was like, move over.
yeah. Scoot over.
We had one person in our group that got some food poisoning. When we were looking at the cheetahs, all of a sudden we heard what I thought was a lion or someone trying to imitate a lion.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
Yeah. And I got really annoyed. I was like, why are they doing that? Because it's scary. And the cheetahs ran off. And it turned out they were throwing up over the side of them.
It was loud. You just hear.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he was out of it for the rest of the day. Well,
Yeah.
he was a trooper though. He stayed on board. But
Twitch question. Hello, I'm just tuning in late, so I'm sorry if this question's already been asked, but do you have any plans to make live costume model drawings more often? I was at Saturday's live workshop and it was awesome.
Yes. We got a lot of really positive feedback out of that. And so, yes, I think we'll probably do it again.
And then Patty says on YouTube, I came in late. Did you mask the grasses over the body of the cat?
Yes, that's liquid frisk.
And Lewis asks, any plans to come to Tasmania? The borders are open now.
Not immediately, but we do want to get there.
Yeah, we have
We're friends with the Procreate people.
Yeah, our friends at Procreate have invited us, and we just, now that things are opening back up, we got to line up a time to make it down there.
For those of you that don't know, Procreate is based in Tasmania.
Yep.
oh, really? During your trip to Europe, which countries will you visit and when?
Can we go ahead and say now?
Yeah, why not?
We are going to be, and we'll have a schedule for this, so it's not necessarily going
We
to be.
don't have the schedule completely.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily going to be in this order.
So subject to change.
But right now the plan is we will be in the Netherlands, we will be in Germany, we will be in Belgium, and we will be in Austria. Did I miss any?
Nope.
And then someone says, "Come to Texas." We haven't been out there yet. We got you know what's funny is we do all these art tours and stuff all over the world. We have not done the Northeast at all, so we've missed New York and all that up there, and we haven't done Texas. That's an area we got to hit. And the Midwest, Chicago. I have a vision that when we finally finish Snow Bear, we'll do a Snow Bear like theater tour, and we'll do like take it on tour and do like a Q&A, like an evening with Aaron Blaze. We'll present Snow Bear and then do coming soon to a city near you. Hey, it works for Kevin Smith. And
So
then
he's saying, come see us in the Northeast.
Maroon Rhythm on Twitch asks, do you ever curse when you mess up something and you're painting alone?
Never. I never let any foul language ever spill from my lips.
That's a bleep, lie, bleep, bleep.
What the beep?
Can your brushes be used in Clip Studio Paint or other programs? Yes, I believe so. Generally speaking, if you can import Photoshop file brushes, you can use our brushes in your program. The only thing we always say is your mileage might vary a little bit, so they might perform a little differently because they were designed for Photoshop. But the programs, I'm pretty sure Clip Studio Paint allows importing Photoshop brushes now. I know Corel Painter does. I know Procreate does. Why was the leopard bad at hide and seek?
I don't know.
Because he was spotted.
Ah.
The irony to that being the exact opposite. Their spots make them almost impossible to find. It really is wild to me. Like, you would think they would stand out, but
No,
there's something about against those grasslands and all that stuff. I mean, they're practically invisible.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's the fact that their fur matches the color so well to the dry tall grass that they could be out in the open. Like there's the whole walking sequence or the whole moment following the leopard walking.
Yeah.
It would be out in the open. It would take me a couple of seconds to look for it. It wasn't until I saw actual moving grass when I actually finally spotted. I'm like, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
It is crazy. But from John Paul Andre, have you been to Sable Island to see the wild horses in Nova Scotia, Canada?
I have not.
In that
I've been to Shintatig.
Huh?
I've been to Shintatig. Saw the horses there.
And Caroline Wilson says, hey, I'm visiting Vanya next week. Finally getting out of England, I hope.
Nice. I hope you guys have a ball.
Eveline on YouTube says, oh my God, you're going to be in Belgium? Wow, I can't wait. Yeah,
Obviously, you're from Belgium.
we are going to have, we're going just for the waffles. No, we're going to have a full schedule as the event gets closer. Now, some of it's going to be like when we normally do this thing, some of the stuff is going to be, we're going to be visiting schools, so it might not necessarily be open to the general public, but we're going to try to do at least one or two publicly accessible meetups while we're there in Europe. So
I definitely want to do a landscape painting workshop, whether or not we get this or not, but my goal
Is
is
to
I want
do-
to do a landscape painting workshop in Austria.
yeah, that's the plan. We're thinking about a 3 or 4 day outdoor painting workshop event.
Have you ever come to Portugal at all? And if yes, where? And if not, are you intending to do so at all?
No, we've never been to Portugal. As close as we got was we went to Sevilla, Spain. That's about as close to Portugal as we got a few years ago, right before COVID.
Aaron thinks this is a art tour, but this is really Nick's going on a beer tour. So that's why
Yeah.
we're going to Germany and Belgium.
Exactly.
Have you ever painted a peacock?
Yes.
What are the most deadliest and dangerous animals in Africa?
Hippopotamus, crocodile.
And of course,
Hippopotamus, crocodile.
and of course, like hyenas, lions.
Hyenas really not. I don't know of any human attacks.
From lions?
No, from hyenas.
Oh, hyenas. Really?
Yeah.
Will you ever come to Vancouver sometime?
No.
Now that's
Yeah, I'd love to.
I've heard it's beautiful up there.
Tech question. You probably know this one, Nick. Are those Photoshop brushes backwards compatible with like CS3?
Yes, they actually work CS3 and above, generally speaking. So if you have, in fact, most of our brush sets, when you download them, there's literally a folder that says CS5 and up and CS3 and up, I believe. So, yeah, I think CS3 is about as far back as we support.
And from Jade Price says, "Hi, Aaron.
Hey,
I have finished your big cats, wolves, and bear courses. Would it be okay to upload all the drawings I have done from your lessons onto Instagram?"
no. Of course you can. You don't need to ask me that. I hope you will. Hey, we should tell them about the next live class.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I don't have a place that they can go sign up yet.
No, we
That's
don't,
good.
but we'll at least get it on their mind.
Yeah, so next month in April, I believe, should I say the date?
Yes, let's go ahead and put it in the ground.
Okay. April 9th, we're going to be doing our next online live workshop. It's going to be an animation workshop. Aaron's going to be doing 5 or 6 hours of live animation demo and teaching. Look for probably next week's stream for us to have more information about that. But I just want to let people know that Saturday, April 9th is going to be our next live workshop event.
Yeah, we took a poll, and I'm just going to let you guys know now for those that participated in it. We took a poll as to see whether or not you wanted to see me do it on paper or digital, and it kind of leaned towards digital. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to still be drawing traditionally, but I'll be drawing on a Wacom Cintiq rather than on paper.
Yeah, so it'll be 2D animation. He'll probably be using TV Paint, but you are more than, if you decide to join us, you're more than welcome to follow along in any animation software, whether it's Krita or Clip Studio or Calipeg on an iPad or Procreate on an iPad. The way Aaron approaches teaching animation, it's not software specific.
Exactly.
So, in fact, all of our animation courses are designed that way. So, you heard it here first. April 9th.
On CBS.
And that's the way it works.
Aaron, have you ever come to Brazil?
I've been to Sao Paulo.
Yeah, we've been there a couple times.
Yeah.
From Jade Price, how many countries have you photographed wildlife for references for drawings?
For wildlife?
Yeah, for wildlife. How many countries have you traveled to photograph?
You know, it's mainly just been Africa, and then I did some. We did some in Nepal and India,
And that was during the.
and then I've done a lot of photography in Alaska, and then out west here in the States.
in
bears and
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to take another trip to Yellowstone.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm going in with a darker ultramarine or Payne's gray and burnt umber, and I'm darkening the spots. And it just gives the spot, rather than just going in and painting black right off the bat, I like to have a little bit of a lighter value show through, and it gives the spots a little bit more depth.
Any chance of getting a course on how to animate dynamic human anatomy, like you did in your human anatomy course, but more about human walks, etc.?
That's a great idea. Let's put that on the docket.
From Tim Hodge, if you
Bailiff? Sorry, you said docket, so I call for the bailiff.
From Tim Hodge, if you visit Bruges, Belgium, don't count on bowling while you're there.
Well, actually, that we are going there. That's one of my favorite movies of all time is in Bruges, and so I always want to go there. Don't count on bowling.
Don't count on bowling while you're there.
Okay.
Goes Tim Hodge.
Okay, whatever, Tim Hodge.
I don't get the joke, but I'm sure there's something to it.
I'm sure there's an inside joke there somewhere. Just, I don't think Dad remembers.
Aaron, are you planning on visiting Croatia? That's actually being discussed, so it's a possibility. We're kind of...
Probably not on this trip.
Yeah, there's an open block of time, but I don't think we're going to have enough time.
Yeah.
And a question for you, Nick, from Martin. When have you...
Martin Berger?
Martin Berger, yep. When have you visited Austria, and where have you already been?
I think I answered this one time to Martin before. Let's see. I was there in.
Wow, that's such a passive aggressive thing to say.
No. I was just.
I thought you answered this question.
No, I was there in 2013, and I've been to Salzburg and I've been to Vienna, and some of the countryside as well.
Salzburg.
And I stayed in Bad Gastein. Is where I spent most of it.
Nick Kiesel's asking, has your backside recovered okay from our epic costume drawing live
No,
day?
it actually still is like right where my back connects to my coccyx. It's still a little sore. I'm a fat ass. I'm working on it, and it's when you sit for a long time on a hard surface, it really it manifests itself with pain.
Danny on YouTube wants to know: do you like stand up, and if so, which comedian's your favorite?
Billy Connolly's my all-time favorite comedian. I love stand-up, and I love Billy Connolly. There's so many Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. There's so many great comedians that I just absolutely adore.
Another YouTube suggestion: you should draw a red panda sometime.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that animated Red Panda movie that's coming out.
Oh, that by that hack company Pixar.
Turning Red.
Turning Red, that's it.
I think that's out next, like in 3 days.
Oh, is it?
It's starting to sing next week or something. It's
wow.
really soon. That's Achilles.
Yeah, that's my dog.
From Thomas Jason Roberts. What tips can you give on character? God, I can't read today. Character design, especially for humans and animals.
Well, you want to keep it believable, right? So one of the biggest things that I talk about, and it's right in the beginning of when you start, so many people just want to get right to drawing. And they start drawing before they know who that character is. So my biggest piece of advice before you ever start drawing is understand who that character is. Find out everything you can about the script and the story that you're designing them for. Whatever you're doing, character design is all about story, because you're designing a character for it. There's something about that character, and so they've got to breathe and live, and so the more you can understand who they are, the better off you're going to be when it comes time to design them. And the more you know about them, they almost design themselves. So spend a lot of time, working that out.
And from Erica Bay, any plans? Erica Bay. Any plans for an in-person workshop this year?
Yes. November.
Well, we're not sure on those dates yet, but yes.
We're hoping for November. Right here in Florida.
Florida.
Which reminds me, I got to follow up with them.
Oh, Tim Hodge corrected. It's a quote from the movie. There are no bowling alleys in Bruges.
Oh.
And Erica Bay commented saying that Frankie's been in Croatia before.
What's that?
Erica Bay says that Frankie's been in Croatia before.
Oh, wow.
Twitch question: why did you choose cad orange and red and yellow with high chroma over a more muted and earthy burnt sienna?
I like using more pure color and then toning them down with a complement. So I like to create my own. I'll still use. I've been using ochre, yellow ochre, but I like to start pure and then tone it down myself.
Danny on YouTube asks, have you ever done any work with Illumination Entertainment?
No.
Illumination.
Would you like to go to Tanzania again and visit Serengeti?
Yes, I've never been to the Serengeti. I've been to the northern end of the Serengeti, which is the Masai Mara, and that's in Kenya.
Oh, you didn't ever cross over? I thought you did at one point.
Well, we did in the balloons, but I mean that was
Oh, gotcha. I thought you also went into Tanzania on one trip.
I did go into Tanzania, but I didn't go into Serengeti. I went to Tarangire National Park.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and that's. I was just going to say Tarangire was was really cool because there's a lot of baobabs there. So these giant baobab trees all over the place.
Mandy Lisa says, here's an oddball question for you, Aaron. Is your drawing hand insured?
You know, my drawing hand used to be insured, but it's not anymore.
From Citizen Seagal, any ideas about the dynamic drawing course soon?
The figure drawing course.
Dynamic drawing.
Dynamic drawing.
No, we don't have any immediate
Weren't we
plans
doing
for
one
that.
a dynamic figure drawing course on that? I mean, I thought I mentioned that. Maybe I didn't mention that.
You haven't. They're talking about something else.
Oh. I am thinking about doing another course on dynamic figure drawing and lighting is what it is. Dynamic figure drawing.
Dynamic lighting.
Yeah.
Do you have any courses on drawing a stylized likeness? To clarify, drawing people or characters that already exist but with exaggerated features.
I don't
Thanks.
have a caricature course if that's what you're asking, but I do have a character design course. And we have portrait courses, or a portrait course.
Detlef is here.
Detlef!
Detlef, he says, this is so insane, man. I love
No,
just
Detlef,
looking
you've
at
been
your
insane.
traditional work.
So, you know what I love about Detlef is that he's such a great artist, and all he does is throw out compliments to everybody else. Detlef is a good man.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
Yes, he is, and he's an amazing artist. And what he's doing with his art, conservation and everything. For those of you that don't know, look up Detlef and his Oh shoot! Can you look it up for you? It's his
Art for confidence.
Arts for Conservation. Yeah. It's he's doing so many great things, and I'm really proud to know the guy. And he's an amazing painter.
From Alan Roll, how do you export the TV paint frames into JPEGs? Do you have any existing videos, or will you?
There's an option right there on the export. When you go to export it, there's actually an option right there.
Jade Price asks, isn't it a good idea for creature design to read Charles Darwin's The Origins of Species?
I've never read it, so I don't know.
Why don't you give it a read and let us know what you think?
It's probably not necessary since he hasn't read it.
But it wouldn't hurt for sure. Understand a little bit better how species evolve and yeah,
That'll definitely be a good
fill their niches.
boost for your
Their niches.
creature design.
Say niche again. I dare you say niche. Niche.
You should do a painting of a king cheetah.
You should stop telling me what to do.
Stop telling me what to do.
I want to do a painting of a king cheetah. They got the best markings ever. Ever.
From Becky Lockley, where did you get that large paper from?
The large paper store. I got it right from Arches. I ordered it from them. You go on their website, and there's all kinds of sizes you can order.
What course would you highly recommend made by your fellow artists?
The storyboarding course by Lyndon Ruddy and another one by
Tim
Tim Hodge is both of those are great. Really good. The dynamic David Coleman's got two really good drawing courses with us. Actually, Armand Serrano and his visual development course is fantastic. And then Tony Cipriano, he's no slouch. Tony Cipriano's got some great ZBrush courses. And actually, we're trying to get together and do some more stuff with him. We might team up, and he and I do something together.
Would drawing animals on the spot at zoos or photo reference help when drawing animals and then making characters out of them?
Yes. The more you can understand how to draw any kind of animal is going to help you make characters out of them, if that's your end game. You know, for sure.
And Detlef commented on your compliment to him, saying that's too much praise, but it's hugely appreciated, Aaron.
I was kidding, man.
Yeah, we
No,
take it back.
absolutely. I mean it from the heart, Detlef. You're a great guy. And I always look forward to seeing what painting you're working on. That polar bear, man, that polar bear is crazy. It's a beautiful painting that you just did.
Oh, you did one of a polar bear?
Yeah, it's really neat.
We need to check that out later.
Check it out.
From Caspra, can you please sketch a koala or red kangaroo?
No.
At least not right now.
Was this entire painting done on the stream? I just joined.
No. I started this painting day before yesterday.
Davey Fur, yes.
Yeah. And so
You got what? Probably 4 or 5 hours into it
yeah.
so far.
Yeah, I'd say about 4 hours into it now.
Yeah, we record a little bit, then stop, then record a little more, then stop.
Eat a little bit.
A little bit here, wait to dry, do a little more there, wait to dry.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to go off the spots for a little bit and go back to putting in some other color.
Just gonna wait for them to dry.
Wait for them to dry. Okay, Pooh.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. Christopher Robin.
So I'm just going to clean up my.
Have you ever read the Where's Waldo series?
I can't put it down.
It's actually above Aaron's reading levels.
I found what the Where's Waldo series.
I just can't find it. It pisses me off.
In England, I believe it's Where's Wally, which is interesting. I don't know why he
Is that true?
Yeah, I don't know why he has a different name over there,
Huh.
but he does.
There's been so many times where I'd be at a convention, somebody be dressed up as Waldo, or like during Halloween, somebody would be dressed up as Waldo, and I'd see like at least 3 or 4 people go, "I found
Always.
Apparently, it was Where's Wally first. They renamed it to Waldo over here. It's a British thing. I have no idea why they would do that.
From Jade Price. I know you haven't drawn dinosaurs that much, but would drawing dinosaur bones, the way you draw animal skulls forensic, be helpful? Like you do in the big cats to tell the difference between each cat.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, any kind of study like that, I think, is always helpful.
How much would you charge for this piece if you sold it?
To be honest, this would probably be about 8,000 to 10,000.
Wait, what?
That's the going rate so far.
Unrelated note, but have you ever heard? It's not really him, but have you ever really heard the Werner Herzog reads Where's Waldo?
Yes.
Where is he? Where are any of us really?
Where is Waldo? From Martin Berger, is that a synthetic brush you're using right now?
No. This is a Sumi brush. I think it's What kind of hair is it? I can't remember. Can't remember. I think it might be horsehair.
And from Thomas Jason Roberts says we call it Wally, Wally.
Why?
Waldo. And from Tim Hodge, do the spots follow a pattern or are they totally random?
No, they're random, obviously, like fingerprints. But fingerprints are predictable whether you're talking about swirls or loops or ovals or whatever. And the spots are the same thing. So when you're looking at the spots on the head, they tend to be single spots. But as you work your way down the neck and down the arms and body, they turn to more into florets, I think they're called, where they have a pattern. Or it's they turn into like a circle of 4 or 5 spots, and they tend to be a little darker in the middle of those spots.
And like a fingerprint, though, the placement from animal
Yeah.
to animal is unique,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
From Becca Larson, I have loved drawing along with your drawing Clear Expressions course. I have been struggling with extending the lessons to the shapes in the animal faces. Would you consider doing a course for facial expressions on animals?
Yeah, we just had that question.
Someone asked us that earlier in the
Yeah,
stream.
so that's even
Facial expression.
that supports it even more.
Yep.
Yeah, I love these Sumi brushes.
What do you find more rewarding, painting on paper or on a tablet in Photoshop?
Painting on paper. I love both, don't get me wrong, but painting on something tangible that I can hang on the pick up and hang on the wall, and that to me is I find more rewarding. Rewarding. But I love painting on a tablet.
If you put in what you would consider an average amount of time, how long will it take you to create a traditional piece like this?
This will probably take about 24 to 30 hours.
In total.
Yeah.
And Martin Berger says, I noticed Aaron didn't use the dryer today.
No, I'm not using the hairdryer today because I'm painting fairly thin, building up glazes, and I'm working, and the painting's big enough I can just kind of jump around. Jump around.
Jump around. Crisscross will make you jump
around.
There aren't enough songs about jumping.
I know.
I want to let people know that if you enjoy watching Aaron's watercolor technique, you might be very interested in his watercolor painting course, which is part of our 8-year anniversary sale, which is going on the website right now. We've got a number of courses for the next 8 days, which are just $8, including his watercolor painting course, which is 12 hours of watercolor lessons where he teaches you all about materials and friskets and glazing techniques and all kinds of stuff. So that course is normally $50 or $60, so it's a great time to pick it up.
Go get it while it's hot.
Yeah. Get it while it's hot.
Is it possible to have a full animal encyclopedia since there's always new animals being discovered all the time?
No.
Well, and there's also new animals always going extinct, so would you remove them, or like how do you even do that? Do you have any tips on painting something that is glowing in watercolor?
Yeah, I mean, whether you're painting something glowing or just normally lit, it all comes down to value and where you put your values. So there's a certain way you present your values in order to make something feel like it's glowing. And so it's just understanding how to do that to get that effect.
And Shelly Guerra mentions about the spot, the leopard spots you were talking about. The leopard's large spots are called rosettes.
Rosettes, thank you. I said florets. I think florets are broccoli, right?
I think you're right. Or cauliflower, yeah.
Give or take.
You
Thank
know what
you.
sounds good now? Some
I
ranch,
said
ranch
florets instead of
dressing.
rosettes.
We had a little cauliflower, broccoli,
Yeah.
and ranch dressing right now.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And I think Dad would love adding some blue cheese on there.
Yeah.
Here's a question. We heard Dustin got a meatball sub, but what did you get, Aaron?
I got an Italian, but it's waiting for me. And I only got half.
It's getting soggy. Public subs.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know public subs, I'm sorry.
I wish if there's a sponsorship deal I wish we could have, I wish it would be with public subs.
Yep.
Ask for it. Ask for them by name.
Public subs, the only sub to go.
Actually, it's funny, of all the people that I know that have left Florida over the years,
They always miss public subs.
consistently the thing they always say they miss is public subs.
Yeah.
It's so funny. What kind of images do you think would be better to practice in watercolor? I mean, should I paint animals or buildings or something specific?
Paint it all. Paint it all. I mean, it's yeah. Saying one thing's better than the other is, I mean, it's like, yeah. I can't say for you. I can't say for you. No, just paint it all.
We've if you're interested in watercolor, speaking of which, we've got a course we're going to be filming here soon with another guest teacher later this month, actually. And she does beautiful figurative watercolor work. I'll just go ahead and say her name now. Jenny Medved. She's a teacher at Ringling. She's the head of a watercolor society here in Florida. Gorgeous, beautiful painting. She's an award-winning painter, and she's got a course coming out soon where she shows her techniques, because that's what's cool about any traditional medium or any medium. Everybody's got their own approach, so
That's right.
which is something we've always wanted to do on our site. Is we want to have different teachers teaching. It's okay if the topics overlap, because students learn differently from different techniques, and teachers teach techniques differently. So, and there's value to it all. So,
All right, we're getting there, folks. We're getting there.
From Thomas Jason Roberts.
Thomas Howell.
Would studying real life animals help when illustrating and animating their prehistoric animal counterparts?
Absolutely.
Like studying movements of big cats, elephants, and rhinos to add realism to woolly mammoths, woolly rhinos, and saber-toothed cats.
Yep. Look at a chicken in comparison to a T-Rex. Any of that stuff is going to help, always. Going back to spots.
Joyce Barnhart is asking, will this be available to watch later? Yes.
yes, all of our live streams are always available on our Facebook channel, our YouTube channel, and usually on the Twitch channel, but I sometimes forget to go manually highlight it, and then it disappears after their period. Do those photos in front of you have grid marks? Did you?
No, I
basically-
don't. I didn't grid. I try not to grid. Mainly because I don't like. I don't want grid marks on my paper, so everything's freehand drawn. I just take I take a lot of time comparing and making sure that it all matches up.
Twitch question: do you like to sketch in colored pencil?
Yeah, occasionally. I haven't done that much of it in a while, but I like it.
Zonchi's asking, ever heard of the word hoagie? Like Hoagie.
As in sandwich.
Yeah, like a hoagie roll. Absolutely.
And Shelley's asking about the Publix subs, which it's not public, it's Publix with an X at the end.
Yep.
Anything like Subway on the West Coast?
I don't know
Better.
about Subway on the West
It's
Coast.
better. Yeah, it's better than Subway on the West Coast. Jack Etheridge on YouTube says, I love working with the tool pens, Copic markers, and white jelly roll pens for doing animal drawings. Thanks for recommending them.
Absolutely. It's a blast.
Shelly just jokes saying, "Did you just compare a chicken to a T-Rex?
I
I
did.
need my ear rate adjusted."
I did.
Kosvi on YouTube says, hey, I'm fairly new around here. Have you ever done any marine life drawings?
Yeah, but not very much. Not anything recent.
One of my favorite ones you did, it's not a marine life per se, but the orca mermaid you did, I love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
With the scuba, with the scuba diver.
You scuba?
Scuba? Scuba? From Alan Roll, will your live session in April in animation be available only for that day? Like you did your clothing session last week?
No, if you actually get a if you sign up for it, you'll have access to a recorded version of it. But only if you sign up.
So, yeah, it'll work just like that.
Just like that.
Which, if you did participate in this past weekend's live workshop, you do now have access. That email went out on Wednesday, I believe it was. So if you didn't see the email or didn't check the email, go into your account, and it's in your downloads and also in your streaming courses. So there you go.
Back on Wednesday.
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 You still say that when you write it?
I do.
So do I. So what I'm doing right now is I'm using ultramarine, a little bit of alizarin crimson because of the warmth of the fur, but I'm mainly ultramarine, and so it's creating this kind of violet. But that's what I'm painting the color of the spots on the back, because they tend to be reflective, and they tend to be cooler on the back because they're reflecting the color of the sky. So they get a blue kind of tint to them. And then as they come down the side, they get darker.
Thomas Jason Roberts says, Aaron, you also said that polar bears are considered a marine mammal. So technically you did do a marine mammal.
That's true.
And Shelly Guerra says, presently watched Siren. What did you think of the art in it?
Siren. I don't know what movie that is. You know?
I don't recall.
Are you able to go to a screen share, Dustin?
Yes.
Just because we brought it up earlier, this is Aaron's mermaid orca whale image called The Encounter. This was a concept piece you did for Mermaid a couple
Right.
years back, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I've always loved this
The
image.
Bancrofts.
Yep. So just wanted to share that since we referenced it earlier, and some people tuning in might not have been familiar with it.
I'm actually going to be going up April 1st and 2nd up to Nashville to go speak at Lipscomb University and hang out with Tom and Tony Bancroft.
You the university?
Did I say university?
You did correct yourself. You did say university.
University?
You in a nursery? You need to be a nurse?
Do you like your subs toasted? There's a really good sub place called Firehouse Subs that has tons of ingredients and tons of them. They do not hold a candle to Publix.
I do not bother with Firehouse. This Firehouse you speak of.
Firehouse isn't bad, but public subs are on a different level.
So one of my other favorite sub places is Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, Jersey Mike's is good.
So I
They're
haven't
hot
had
subs,
Poison
like
those in a long time.
like their Phillies and stuff are really good. We should start a whole spin-off show, like stream, where we just talk about subs.
Yeah. And
or
make
just talk
some.
about life. Just talk about life in general. Just like
Nope, just
Make
subs.
subs.
just subs.
Just subs. It's we stick to tight topics here.
So it'd be like Top Gear, but for subs.
Mm-hmm. Twitch comment.
This here is a beautiful sub.
Twitch comment. Please, more marine life prints. That's awesome. Catch up to some questions here. Have you ever messed up a watercolor painting, like spilling your drink on it or something?
I have messed up so many watercolor paintings. I've spilled my drink on it. I've drank my paint water.
There's still time with this one.
There's still time with this. That's why, because of my age and the number of times I've messed up my watercolor paintings, you will see that I don't have anything on my desk that could spill.
Edwin on YouTube asks, how many versions of the script for Brother Bear did you go through until you found the one that was just right, or did you write it yourself?
No, I didn't write it myself, and we never. The script is constantly being rewritten. Even while the movie's being made, we're rewriting the script. So the script, once we got to the end of the movie, making the movie, that was basically the finished script.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's not like live action where you put the script into production. It's kind of weird. Like
Yeah, it'll go into production when most of the script is ready. But we'll continue to write and rewrite and rewrite.
And speaking of Brother Bear from Thomas Roberts, does your anatomical expertise on bears come from working on Brother Bear?
Yes. I learned most of what I know about drawing bears from working on Brother Bear. And a lot of that came from Terrell Whitlatch. We hired Terrell to come in and help us with our bear design.
Hey guys, have you used Adobe Animate and do you like it? I've started using it now with the Adobe Cloud.
I've never used it.
Aaron's never used it. I have, back when it used to just be Flash. That a lot of people don't realize that Adobe Animate Flash turned into Adobe Animate. I haven't used it in years, but I used to love it. I mean, there's a ton you can do with it. It's used a lot in television production, I can tell you that.
From Alan Roll, what is your view on Tim Burton's animations, such as Beetlejuice's Sand Monster and The Corpse's Bride?
I love them. Great stylistic stuff.
Ryan wants to know, hey Aaron, have you ever done a Frank Frazetta style drawing with some kind of fierce warrior next to a big cat or something like that?
Yes, I did a lot of that when I was young. Matter of fact, I used to, I didn't have a lot of money growing up. And I used to go to the B. Dalton bookstore in the Coastland Mall in Naples, Florida, whenever I could get there. And they had this copy of one of Frazetta's books. And no one ever bought it. And I used to go and I'd bring my drawing pad and I'd sit on the floor in the bookstore and I'd open up the book and I would copy his drawings.
On a related follow-up, did you ever get a chance to meet Frazetta?
I never did.
Tony Cipriano, if you go to our website, creatureartteacher.com, he's got 2 courses with us. One is on sculpting in clay, and one is in digital sculpting in ZBrush, and both of those are on sale right now. I think they're 30% off or more. But he actually is he's met Frank Frazetta, and he's actually one of the official sculptors for the Frazetta estate. So when they do like sideshow collectibles where they take his art and they make those really amazing 3D like limited edition sculptures of like his paintings and drawings, Tony does those, and so he's incredible at studying that 2-dimensional work, and figuring out how the heck to sculpt
Yeah.
it from all angles.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Did you ever get kicked out of that bookstore?
I never did, and the book never sold because I think I wore it out. So no one ever wanted to buy it.
You know what's funny about that is I think so many people do that with bookstores. I used to do that with Barnes & Noble all the time because they used to have all those great seating spots and you would just sit with a book and look at it for hours and then never buy it and leave. And then I realized that the last time I was in a Barnes & Noble, they took out most of those chairs.
Yeah.
Zonji makes a fun recommendation here. If there is an art retreat in Florida, at least one extracurricular should be a trip to get Publix subs.
That's a
Oh
great
yeah.
idea.
We did that on the last art retreat that we threw. We didn't have public subs.
Would you ever do a VR stream like with Gravity Sketch or Tilt Brush or another VR drawing program?
We've talked about it, but I don't know how we would set it up.
It's simple. It's stream. You can stream it right to the computer.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not something I know well enough that I could.
You'd be fine.
I could do a
Even I was
stream,
playing around with it in like 2 seconds. I was like, I think that's what we do. I think is the I do think we need to do a series of live streams where you just go into stuff cold. Aaron tries Krita. Aaron tries Clip Studio Paint. Aaron tries Tilt Brush.
And it just shows him in the world just like, I don't know how I got here.
Do your
I'll do that
hand?
with food.
Do your hands ever get tired?
Yes.
Twitch comment. Someone says you should try out Ibis Paint X. To look that up. Is that a VR one? I don't know.
And we're gonna have a latecomer here, Jeff
Foxworthy?
That's a phone app. Or
Jeff DiCosola. Says, sorry boys, joining late. The grass in front of the cat, do you have frisket on that, or are you just painting around it?
No, I've got Frisket.
Frisket.
lots of people saying they would love to see you try stuff that you haven't used before. That's a great idea. I think we should do it. It's a, you know, it is what it is. Aaron struggles with this. Aaron struggles with that. Where's the save button? Aaron throws his computer out the window.
Aaron quits. Aaron fires everybody.
Aaron goes to store, buys a new computer. Aaron has no one to help him set it up, because he fired everybody.
If you don't like the word animations as the plural for 2D animation, what is a better term for them?
It's a piece of animation or multiple pieces of animation. It's an animation piece.
It's kind of like fish. It's singular. Like, look at those fish over there. You
Yeah.
don't say, look at those fishes.
I mean, those fishes have a lot of great animations to them.
Right. Although it does seem like nowadays a lot of people say it as a plural word, but traditionally it's a singular.
It's not until the 90s when CG animation came out. It was the tech guys started using it that way.
I wonder if somehow got carried over from the visual effects world or something, because a lot of the CG world and the visual effects world overlap. So.
Yeah. Oh.
Zoji says that the Frazetta Museum is within an hour of me, but I've never been.
Yeah, Twitch comment. It's just like the word information. Exactly. So there's no plural you don't say informations.
That's actually a great example.
Hey, Gabby hopped in.
Gabby!
Gabby says says hi.
Yeah, Zounji, you got to go to that museum, man. If it's still there, didn't one of the sons drive a truck through it or something?
You thirsty, Aaron?
Yeah, I could drink.
Let me grab you some.
I was just running out of air.
I could use a drink.
Ever since about COVID.
Martin Berger asks, do you ever use black? Payne's gray doesn't count.
No, I don't use black. That's why I mix my darks or my blacks. Payne's gray, ultramarine, usually, and then I'll shift it around with depending on what temperature I want it to be with the alizarin greens. Oh, thanks.
Thomas Roberts says that a singular plural is also known as an irregular plural. You don't call sheep sheeps or sheepies.
Chibis.
Sheepies.
What little sheepies you call that?
Someone says, bighorn sheep are great. Why doesn't Aaron draw any sometime?
I hate them.
Have you ever done a bighorn sheep?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, I got one on one of Aaron's art tips. How to draw a likeness.
Oh, that's right. That's
How to
right.
draw a likeness. And I used a bighorn sheep.
Turbo said, you need to make it more enticing. A Disney animator tries painting with ice cream, regrets it immediately. And then you put a red circle on the thumbnail with Aaron's surprised face.
That's funny.
That's the typical shtick. Paul asks, hello. I was wondering if you've ever had a problem with rushing. I have a problem with slowing down and taking my time. Like, do you find yourself speeding through your art too fast or,
No,
or being
I mean,
tempted to?
No, I used to. But now I just kind of get into the zen.
Eric on Twitch asks, are you familiar with Bev Doolittle's camouflage art?
Yes.
Have you ever drawn a hidden image inside one of your art pieces?
Not really. I was always a big fan of Bev Doolittle back in the 80s. Is she still painting? I haven't seen any of her work in years.
The Art of Don Day on YouTube asks, hey Aaron, have you ever been to Katie's Cove in Great Smoky Mountains National Park? It's a great place to photograph wildlife and scenery. Dustin would love it too.
I don't think I have.
Well, what?
Katie's Cove in Smoky Mountain National Park.
Ooh. And Gabby's asking, how's Marshall? I hope he's okay and doing well.
He's all right. I got him outside mowing the lawn right now.
When doing animation, do you have to draw all the sides of a full movement?
All the sides of a full movement. I don't know what that means.
No, you only draw what the camera sees. I think they're trying to figure out if you have to draw. It's not CG, so you're not drawing what you can't see.
True.
Basically.
And he was
You're only
totally
drawing what
being
you
about Grandpa Marshall. Marshall was back up in Vermont.
Yeah, Marshall's in Vermont.
I think it's funnier if he's outside mowing the lawn.
He's out. I'll bet you he's out there up in Vermont shoveling snow.
Close enough.
I know he's been doing that.
So just want to remind people again, we're having our 8-year, 8-day, $8 anniversary sale. It's our 8-year anniversary of our website, and a bunch of our courses over there at Creature Art Teacher are only $8, including our 4-legged animation bundle, the Aaron's oil painting course, perspective drawing course, drawing cartoon animals with Tim Hodge, drawing portraits with Ken Sperduso, introduction to drawing with Ronnie Williford. We've got a bunch of stuff up there right now. So, bunch of Dustin's photo packs, including his new ones on animals and birds of Africa. His big cats packs, the Yellowstone pack, as well as a bunch of our brushes and texture sets and stuff of that sort.
Of that nature.
What color what color are you using the most, and why ultramarine blue?
I like ultramarine blue is just a really great, cool, it's really versatile. It works great for shadows. That and cobalt. I don't have any cobalt right now. I've actually got some on order.
That's like real cool, man. Will prints of this painting be available at a later date?
Yes.
If Nick ever gets around to putting them on the website.
Look how tedious this is.
Actually, it's funny you say that. Brock says, it turns out that watching paint dry is actually a lot more fun than people make it out to be.
And from Zone G, what kind of textures are you creating in the rosettes? Are they solid or broken up in the fur directions?
They're broken up into fur directions. I try to make sure that I'm painting them in the direction that the fur is growing. Good question.
And Isabel
He's
Garcia,
always got good questions.
and Isabel Garcia is asking for animation. How about an antelope jumping? That'd be interesting.
How about no?
Twitch question. What were your thoughts on Glenn Keane's Over the Moon?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great. Glenn's always so heartfelt in his storytelling. It's one of the things I love about Glenn. What inspired me when I learned animation from him. He really inspired me to feel the emotion, and that's what you animate.
I believe you meant to say when I learned to do animations from him.
Animations.
Adrian on YouTube asks, I absolutely love your artwork, Aaron. Do you know of any other popular wildlife artists? I only know of you.
Oh yeah, I'm nothing compared to these other guys. Look up Bob Kuhn. Kuhn. He's probably one of the greatest. Robert Bateman, who's the greatest. Carl Rungus. Bruno Liliafors. Wilhelm Kunert.
Greg Beecham.
Greg Beecham. I'm naming all the old masters.
Yeah.
But Greg Beecham is an amazing contemporary wildlife artist. John Siri Lester, who just recently passed, was a big mentor of mine.
And Greg Beecham was great to work along with in Africa. He gave me some really good pointers.
Yeah, he's a good photographer as well.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you have any tips? I'm sorry, have you ever done any live in-person demos or classes before? And do you have any plans on doing them in the future?
I've done many of them, and yes, we try to do 3 or 4 big classes a year. And so we've got one planned. We're trying to get one planned for November. We're hoping. And then
Oh, did you say Guy Koliak? Because someone mentioned
Guy
him.
Koliak, yes.
Yep.
And Guy, no, I didn't mention. I forgot Guy Koliak. I'm actually friends with Guy Koliak. I should have remembered. When I was a kid growing up, I had Guy Koliak's Big Cats book, and then as I grew old, I was always a huge fan of Guy Koliak's, and then as I got older and became a painter, and it was always my goal to be able to be in the show with him, and I finally was. It was a big honor for me.
What does the term contemporary artist mean?
A living, working artist now.
In other words, Leonardo da Vinci is not a contemporary artist because
Right.
long since passed.
As a Welsh person, could you please draw a Welsh dragon?
No. Next. Yes, at some point I probably will. I don't know what constitutes a Welsh dragon.
Well, he could draw a Welsh dragon, but not as a Welsh person because Aaron is not Welsh.
Exactly.
So
Well, this is coming from the
I know that was just I was just joking. As a Welsh person, could you? It's on their flag actually. The flag of Wales has a cool looking dragon on it, I believe. Here's a question. Aaron, do you have any tips for how to animate two characters interacting? How to make it, in general rules, to make it look right, I mean.
Yes, my first tip is start with the character that's dominant in the shot. That's how we always did it. Start with your dominant character, plan it all out ahead of time.
Thumbnails.
Yep, lots of thumbnails. And then what we would do, because a lot of times it was multiple animators, working on a shot like that. The dominant character, the animator would start, and then we'd just give the scene back and forth.
A YouTube question. How are you drawing so good without feeling embarrassed, pressured, or distracted? Because I feel all of those things when someone watches me draw.
I'm embarrassed of these guys all the time, but I just sit here and do it.
You're embarrassed of us?
Yes. No, I sit here embarrassed all the time. You can't see my bottoms.
Yeah.
from
No, I'm just sorry, Dustin. I'm just used to I'm used to talking and painting and I really don't care if someone likes my paintings or not. So that frees me up to just talk.
I also think, I mean, this is one thing I've always thought is that part of your ability to speak about your art probably comes from your background at Disney because you doing press and having to do all that stuff, and
Yeah.
it's kind of part of the job.
It definitely was.
From Arturo Garcia, work of John Benovich?
Yes.
His
John Banovich is great. I actually know John Banovich.
How do you?
Yes. I gave a lecture on digital art one time, and using a Cintiq. I gave it to the Society of Animal Artists, which I was a part of for a number of years, and so was John. And John was in the crowd when I gave this talk on digital art and what you could do with it. Even if you didn't want to be a digital artist, as a traditional artist, I was explaining how it can help your
process.
Your process, exactly. And he ended up getting up at the end of the lecture and he goes, I feel like a fish that has just leapt from the water and breathed air for the first time. And I said, wow, John, that's awesome. And he had his, John's a very, very successful animal artist, and he's got it really down great. He's got a great company. And he's just amazing. He's got lots of assistants, and I remember his assistant contacted me as soon as I got back to Florida, saying, "Hey, where do we? Can you help us out with getting a Cintiq that John can start working on right away?" So he completely converted him. Now, whether or not he still does it, I don't know. But at the time,
this is a funny typo. Citizen Zero asks, is this painting for sailing?
yes, actually, just put it right on the pole and
Sail away.
right on the map.
Sailing. They obviously were asking if it was for sale.
Yes.
Autocorrect. Claire on YouTube says, I just found the making of Brother Bear on YouTube. It was awesome and gave me so much insight into how a huge production that was to make. There was so much talent there.
Back when I had hair too.
Luxurious flowing locks.
Yes.
Golden locks.
Yeah, they're more of a brown. Question from Shelly Guerra, and I'm really, really tempted to ask this question in an accent. Aaron, have you drawn Scottish cows, like the cows with the long hair?
The Highlanders.
The Highland cattle. That was a bad.
That was a bad. You just completely regretted doing it right away. I could tell.
Okay. No, I have today.
That's funny. No, I've never done them.
No, but I love that the Highland cattle character in what's that bull movie that came out a few years ago?
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand. That's it.
I actually did some work for Ferdinand.
Oh, did you?
I did some test animation before they built them.
Oh, nice.
I did some 2D animation.
Hey, those brushes just came.
What?
These brushes, the new brushes.
Oh yeah, let me see those. Vedanta's here.
Hello. Goodbye.
Hey. And
What?
in Ferdinand, there is a Highland cattle.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Twitch question, and we've gotten similar questions like this before. I'm having a really bad period overall in my life right now, and I've been finding it hard to keep motivation for painting and doing commissioned work. But I also feel a little bit like it's a circle. The more I don't paint, the more I feel bad about it. Any advice?
Yeah, it is a vicious circle, and I'm sorry you're going through. I know when I've had traumatic and horrible things happen in my life, the last thing I do a lot of times is want to do is art. But at the time, it was also my job, so you got to find a way to dig yourself out. And I found that if I just went in and just did it, it would kind of, it's like muscle memory. You start to come out of it.
You did a video years ago, one of my favorite videos you ever did on persistence. Aaron's art tip number 9.
Yeah,
I'm going to post a link to it, and I know it's...
Yeah.
You talk a lot about just the sun always coming up and how you have to keep persisting. And
Yeah, and you got to persist, and your talent will always persist, and your abilities, and you just got to nurture them, and don't let them waste away. And you know your life is going to have, you're going to have great days and you're going to have bad days, but the one thing that will always be with you is your art, and you just got to embrace that and let it not just be there to do when you're happy, let it be there to do when you're sad. Creating art is a great therapeutic tool for when you don't feel well. And for me, I've had so many things come and go in my life, and I've had horrible trauma and I've had wonderful things. But the one thing that's always been there has never ever let me down is my art, and sitting there and working through things through my art. And so just know that if you're going through a bad time and you find it hard to do your art, that's okay. But come back to it eventually anyway, and just start to do it, because you'll find it also helps you heal.
how do you avoid making the spots all look too much alike?
I'm very conscious of that just for that reason. I want to make sure that they don't look too much alike, so I'm trying hard not to do that. That's the only way I can explain it.
Have you ever tried to paint in the Bob Ross wet on wet style? I find it an interesting method.
Oh yeah. Yep. I do that a lot with my oil painting.
Did you remove the frisket?
The frisket? The frisket? No, I haven't removed the frisket yet.
So it's still on the paper.
Yes. The frisket?
What was your favorite cryptid to create?
My
What is
favorite
it?
what?
Cryptid?
Cryptid.
CRYPTID?
Is that like a crypto creature?
I think so.
Maybe.
I don't know. I've done Sasquatch. I've done Loch Ness. I like them all. They're all fun. Probably my favorite. I did an image. I tried to make it photo real of what it wasn't a Sasquatch. It was a Yeti. What a Yeti would really look like, and I used a lot of photo bashing and whatnot. It was a lot of fun to do.
Vincent Straight says, I notice you don't paint a lot of backgrounds. Any reason why? Probably too much.
Well, I haven't gotten to the backgrounds on this one, and I do backgrounds occasionally, but I mean, so often when I'm painting, I'm doing a demo, and so including the background, really increases the amount of time it takes to do something. For me,
And he also adds, would it be extremely cool to see your wildlife in an urban setting?
says you.
Says he.
Have you ever, or would you ever, submit your artwork into the federal duck stamp competition?
I used to enter the federal duck stamp competition every year back in the '80s. No, it's not. I'm not really interested in it anymore.
I know Rebecca Knight, she enters it every year. She's
Yeah.
done some great pieces for it.
I just don't like to paint that. I don't like to
I
paint
think
that.
she actually won one year. I'm not sure.
I don't think she won the federal. I know she's won quite a few state stamp competitions.
Are gorillas gentle or intimidating, especially the silverback males?
They're both. They can be very gentle, but they are intimidating. It's a 400-pound animal that can pull himself up into the trees like it's nothing.
And can pull your limb off like it's nothing.
Exactly.
So never get on their bad side. Stay on their good side.
Rebecca won the federal junior duck stamp contest when
Oh,
she was
gotcha.
younger. That's what it was. I knew she had won something related to that because they have age brackets, I guess.
Martinberg commented, Aaron's art tip number 9. Does Nick know these things out of his head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is going in with the darker dark and hitting the spots. Which again, giving them a little bit more depth when you have a lighter color underneath.
Martinberg comments that art is never going to give you up, never going to let you down.
That's right.
Have you ever been commissioned for your art, Aaron? Do you have any displayed in museums or large or public spaces?
No. Yes, I've been commissioned, but nothing.
It's all been private.
It's all
collection.
been private commissions. Yeah.
Stephen Marshall asks, have you ever entered the Who Stepped on a Duck contest?
Oh. You trying to do Donald there, Dustin?
Aaron, do you ever ink your animation drawings? And if so, could you ever show how you do that?
I don't. And I never have, actually.
Never have.
Have you ever heard of Wolfwalkers? It's a very beautiful animated movie that I think is underappreciated.
Funny you should mention that.
Funny you should mention that. I actually worked on it. Very, very little. And that's disrespecting the guys that worked on it because I did very little. But I did go out to Ireland when they were working on it, and I gave some animal locomotion lectures and
Your name's in the credits under character and visual development.
yeah, I'm in the credit. I think it was a very
Very
nice thing for them to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how well deserved that is, but yeah, they did give me some credit.
They Cartoon Saloon does amazing work. They're just
Right.
such a cool studio. I want to go back to Kilkenny and have a little more time to spend there.
Yeah, matter of fact, we're going to be seeing Tom Moore, who was one of the directors, on our trip to Europe on this next trip.
Yep. I think we're going to see him at both the Netherlands and Berlin when we're there.
Yes.
Do you ever have time when you're not satisfied with your artwork, and how do you deal with that?
It happens on every painting, and I'll go through it on this painting. I was going through it earlier when before I sat down, and so I really have gotten good at analyzing why I'm not satisfied with something, and then being able to shift gears. There was a time when I was younger where I wouldn't be satisfied with a painting, but I couldn't put my finger on why I wasn't satisfied with it, and I'd get frustrated and throw it away. But I've been able to do this long enough now that I can see why I'm not frustrated with it, see what it needs, and I can adjust.
Twitch question. My question is, why are you no longer interested in the federal duck stamp competition?
I just don't paint that way anymore. You know, the federal duck stamp is a 7 by 9 inch painting, first of all, so I don't.
It's very specific
Yeah,
requirements.
and it's very, very tightly detailed, and that's just not my style anymore. I don't like to paint that way.
I saw a whole controversial video about this rivalry between these two artists.
Yeah,
It's like kind of a funny.
yeah. Yeah, was it the two brothers?
No, it's this one guy has won it, and then the other guy is like his rival.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah. I know about those guys too. Yeah, I can't remember their names though.
I can't remember either, but the video I was just like, it was kind of wild. Like,
Yeah, funny.
what's the warm color that you're using?
Oh, right now, burnt umber. I'm mixing that with my Payne's gray. It makes a nice, deep, dark black.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't see the palette today. We had the camera set up on it, but it wasn't recording because we're recording this as well, and it wasn't sending that information to the stream for some reason. So we're not able to show the palette today. We'll get that. You can kind of see it in the bottom shot, but you can't really see what's on the palette. So we'll get that worked out for the next stream if
Get it
we're
worked
still
out.
working on this piece.
If I go to Yellowstone, Aaron, can I use a rug to pretend bullfight a bison as a mat?
You go right ahead. You go right ahead.
Matador.
If it's not too much trouble, can I ask for a closer view of what Aaron is doing? Do you mind if I zoom in? Will that must be recording, Aaron?
No, because we can just work
Use
on
the
it.
recording, right?
Yeah. Well, just make sure to refocus it when you after
Yeah, I
zooming
will.
in.
I just can't. I can't move the painting around because it's taking.
No, that's fine. There's very little detail.
Oh yeah.
I was touching the monitors without focus.
Do you color with markers on occasion?
I'm terrible with markers. I do try. I try. I wouldn't say that I'm good at it. I use I'll use markers mainly for value, but there's these new markers called Olo Markers that our friend John Darlin is creating, and I used them. I tested them out last week. He sent me a couple, and they're
The prototypes.
super cool, and really there's a lot of ink in them, which is really cool. They last forever.
Real quick, speaking of those Olo markers, if you go to olomarkers.com, those are up for pre-order. And John was largely responsible for bringing Copic markers into the United States.
Exactly.
So he's got a huge background in the marker industry and knows what makes a good art marker. And he's developed these markers from the ground up based on his experiences over the years in the industry. So when they come out, they're going to be pretty cool.
And from Florian Steinberg, sorry I had to ask, but any thoughts of the Ukraine-Russian war? I think many people in Europe are being scared about the current situation.
I'm in the same place. I feel bad for all the not misplaced, but people that have been pushed out of their homes, the refugees. I mean, that's always a horrible thing to happen in any kind of conflict like that. So I just hope that they can get back to their homes and get back to a normal life as soon as possible. It's a horrible thing to see them going through that.
Oh, someone asked how you spell those markers. It's Olo, O-L-O. No, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
I was
you
just reading the question and I wasn't thinking about what you were saying. Yeah, it's
no, it's fine because it can. I don't want to turn this into a big discussion of world events either.
no, I agree, but I just hope everybody's safe, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of friends in Ukraine. We have friends in Russia. Let's just all hope that peace comes soon.
Have you ever thought about doing an art exhibition?
I've done lots of art exhibitions. Yeah. Yep. Probably not. We'll probably do another one. Actually, we just did one online where everything was for sale and went fairly well.
Someone asks, when are you coming to the Netherlands and Germany? I'll be here one more year, so I'd love to come to see you if possible to any events.
April and May.
It's going to be this April and May. Any live streams planned with Manny Carrasco soon?
That guy, that hack.
We don't have any immediate plans, but I'm sure he'll be on some point in the very near future.
Yeah, we're gonna get him on because I got to pressure him to get his course done too. He's doing a really great course on keeping a sketch journal. It's gonna be awesome. Manny is his field paintings and drawings are just blows me away what he does. Guy's incredible.
Did they answer my cryptid question? I had to pop away real quick.
Yes, he does that.
That was answered. And I said they've drawn Sasquatch and the Loch Ness Monster.
Bigfoot.
Big Sasquatch.
Abominable snowman. Do you think on one of your future watercolor demos you could do Nala meeting Raja?
No. I love doing that.
Maybe. That'd be kind of fun.
I love saying no to. I used to love saying no to my kids. That's what I used to say to my kids. Get off my property.
You can.
Get out of here! You shouldn't be here anymore. They're 5.
So some of the rosettes will get a darker, richer brown inside them. So that's what I'm painting right now.
But which was your favorite of the cryptids you've made?
Is this person getting a third question?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you can't ask a question then walk away, then get to ask if the question was answered, and then get another question. Are you kidding me? Sasquatch.
Sasquatch?
Yeah.
I found the interview that you and Proco did recently. That was so much fun to watch. How did you two get to be friends?
I hate that guy. We just, I think we literally just saw that we both had some decent following on the internet, and so we contacted each other to see if we might want to team up, and that's how we became friends.
Yeah, and it just turns out you guys have really hit it off. There's people really like your guys' interaction too. It's kind of cool. I don't know. There's some sort of chemistry you guys have on camera. It works really well.
I love him. We're in love.
Proco's such a good guy. I love his website. He's doing a lot of cool stuff. His videos are super entertaining. He's coming to visit us here in Florida, and we've gone to visit him out in California.
Santiago.
San Diego.
Are they planning on making another visit here or us up there?
At some point, I mean, COVID kind of slowed everything down, so...
Right. From Trish Harden, do you follow Annie Stegg and her paintings?
No, I don't. I'm not sure. That name doesn't ring a bell. I'll look her up. I'm just getting some more fur texture in here.
Do you plan on doing another live drawing session like you did this weekend?
Yes.
This is looking nice, Aaron.
Thanks.
Oh, that's a nice paint.
Slowly getting there. I've just got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound now. Watch your bandit run.
Thomas on YouTube asks, is watercolor painting easier than oil or acrylic painting?
No. They're just different. They all have their own quirks.
I know.
I think probably the easiest is acrylic.
I know a lot of people that find watercolor to be the hardest.
Watercolor is a pain in the butt because you have to layer it, and you can't put light over dark. You can if you work in gouache, but which is an opaque watercolor. But what I like about acrylic is that you can go light over dark, dark over light. You can just keep building it up, building it up, building it up, and it dries fast.
Let's use any sticks.
Oh wow, those are beautiful. Yeah, I like her work.
Antonio asks, Aaron, what do you think about hyperrealism when it comes to animal portraits? Those people who draw hair by hair. I feel like the end result is amazing, but the process seems like torture to me.
I do too. That's why I don't paint that way. But you look at people like Carl Brenders. Look up Carl Brenders. And he does that type of work, and it's just absolutely stunning. Oh, I've been sitting here with my new paintbrushes in my hand. Completely forgot they were there. So check out these new brushes. The new Sumi brushes. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, I got the golden scroll.
The great golden scroll.
While you're opening that, I know you published 2 art books recently, but when do you think you're going to get around to making The Art of Aaron Blaze Volume 2?
We're actually
I've already started working on it.
Yeah, we're in the process of planning it right now. So here, look at this. Oh. See, this is what I'm going to use for the big laying in big areas for washes. That is a paintbrush. This will be where I lay down the grass. Look at that thing. It's huge.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah, that's where I'm going to use this to paint all of my grasses in. Right here. That's going to be the initial washes. I've been dying to get something.
Twitch comment,
big.
that's not a paintbrush, that's a broom.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's gonna be quite nice.
What is the largest piece of art you've ever made?
I did a 4 what was it? A 4 foot by 6 foot painting of a sea otter. That was about 30 years ago, 25 years ago.
I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
Yeah, I sold it.
Is there a picture of it anywhere?
Yeah, I think you've seen it. He's swimming on his back.
You know, I probably just didn't, because it was a photo, I probably just didn't know the sense of scale.
Yeah,
That's the problem, right? I mean,
it was a giant oil painting.
it's funny, you see images in art history books and you have no sense of what their actual scale is. So the one that blew me away was when I went in St. Petersburg, Florida, there's a Dali museum.
Yeah,
And one of my favorite Dali paintings, in fact, I used to have a poster of it in my room, is the hallucinogenic matador.
yeah.
And I thought it was just like
No, it's
a
like
normal
the
size painting, but
the
it's
size
like
of the whole wall.
it's like 20 feet tall.
Yeah,
It's gigantic. Like I had no idea, and I just assumed it was like the size of the poster I had in my room.
yeah. And then one other one. Here's the other one. This one's all taped up. Oh shoot! I don't think I can get into this.
Here, you want me to open it up?
Yeah. I'm just about ready to call it a day today.
Aaron, can you tell us what working with Expedition Art Inc. was like? I saw your work and interview in their book.
Yeah, I hate those guys.
What
I'm
a
just pulling
bunch
it
of jerks.
No, it's awesome. That's Manny and Katie and
Greg?
John and the whole gang. What's that? Christy, I mean. Sorry, Christy. Not Katie, sorry. Yes. Well, if I'm trying to paint, if I'm thinking of what color I'm supposed to be using, and then also having to recall names, I screw up.
I think Mercury's in Gatorade. Yeah, I lied. I'm not opening this.
What's that?
I need like a blade or something to open this with.
Yeah. Well, you don't have fingernails because you chew your fingernail.
Shh. It's not true. My 5-year-old son sees me doing it and he hits my hand and goes, "Bad habit." I go, "You're right, son. You're right." Actually, it's funny. His
And then
manner.
you hit him back and say, "Don't hit your father."
Yeah, his manners. He's like in this whole manner thing now. So like he says, like his big thing right now is he says, "Excuse me, I burped," and he says it a lot. So much so that last night at t-ball practice, he was running from third base to home. We were having like a little scrimmage game,
Yeah.
and as he's running, he goes, "Excuse me, I burped," which I just thought was hilarious. Denise says, "Hi, I'm new to your channel. Can you please tell me what paper you're using? It's amazing."
This is Arches 350-pound cold press. I think it's 350, is that right? Oh, great. You got it?
I'm going to zoom back out for a little bit so people can see the size of the paper.
Yeah, you can, there's a... And here's the other brush. Oh, this is the other one that's going to be getting the grasses. Look at those bristles.
Man, it's so white, it's blending into the background.
Here, there you go. But there, you can see how long those bristles are. So
Longer
that's
than your
gonna, the
fingers.
reason I get these is that holds a lot of liquid, and I can just lay it down and just have nice long grasses. So that's the intent there.
Sophie on Twitch asks, "Have you ever tried pastel matte paper?"
I have not. But I think I'm going to call it, you guys. I'm starving.
You got
I'm
your
not
stamina.
starving. I mean, I weigh as much as a small planet, but I'm hungry.
We can feel the gravity pull from here.
Oh, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one more thing. I said that just for you, Dustin.
One more thing.
One more thing.
One more thing. One more thing, people.
Bingo.
Bingo. I have not gotten into inside the ear yet with Darkest Dark.
How long does each layer typically take to dry in
Oh,
watercolor?
just a couple minutes. I don't paint that thick.
Is that a bamboo handle?
On the brush that I just showed, it is, yeah.
And the much larger brush, was that also bamboo or was that
No,
different?
just wood.
Just wood?
Wood.
So what is this one more thing you're doing? You're adding
I'm going deeper darks in the ear.
in the ear, to really make those tufts puff.
Yep, in the deep recesses of the ear.
Have you ever worked on a TV show before?
Yes.
Marsupilami?
Marsupilami, yeah. That's the only one I can think of. Trying to
Marshall
remember.
Flammy.
In case people don't know, I think we've got a lot of first-time viewers today. Aaron was a animation feature film animator, worked on The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Mulan, Pocahontas. He directed Brother Bear, and
Yeah.
he also was an animator and character designer. Worked on a bunch of films, but television, the only thing I can think of is Marsupilami.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
And for video games, you animated the characters in The Lion King
Yeah,
and
the Sega
and
games,
the
right?
Super Nintendo and Sega Lion King and Aladdin games.
Yeah.
The 16-bit ones. Twitch question from a first-time viewer. Dude, that's watercolor? WTF? That's awesome.
WTF. Wow, that's fun. All right, so far so good. We're getting there.
Someone
Only
asked.
about 12 more hours to go.
Monica asks, "Is that black color a watercolor paint? It looks amazingly dark."
Yes, it is a watercolor. It is Payne's Gray and Burnt Umber for the warm blacks, and for the cool blacks, I have Payne's Gray and Ultramarine Blue. Now, I'm also thinking about going into it later. I might not with some of the kanji ink, some of the calligraphy ink that I bought, which is this. It goes with the Subi brushes. The Subi brushes that I'm using are Asian calligraphy brushes, but they just hold the liquid so well. I just find them really conducive to painting fur textures, especially in watercolor. They just work great. So there's that. So anyway,
Oh, someone says Marsupa what? Marsupilami
it was
was
back
a
in the 90s.
it was a Disney afternoon animated cartoon show. It was on like right before, right after DuckTales.
Yeah, I did some freelance on that at one time.
He was
So-
like a cheetah or a leopard with like this really long tail.
Yeah.
Super long tail.
Well, the frisket is really picking up a lot of the graphite that I left down. I should have run an eraser over the top of it, because I think when I go to pull up the frisket, it's going to rub some of that graphite into the white areas, so it won't be as white. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But anyway, so there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed today, and I'm going to work on this throughout the week so that hopefully by next Friday, when we do our next live stream, I'll have a finished painting to share with you guys.
And be sure to head over to creatureartteacher.com. We're having our 8-year, 8-day, $8 animation or course sale for the next 8 days. Everything on the website is 30% off or more, and a ton of our courses, brushes, lessons are just $8 each. So it's one of our lowest prices of the year. So this is a good chance to snap up a bunch of courses or get our annual membership, which gets you everything on the website, plus everything we release over the next year, because that's $75 off right now, and it's really a great value.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of a big deal.
So I hope you guys enjoyed today. I really had a blast. Man, we got a lot done. That was fun. I think it's just going to take about maybe 4 or 5 more sittings, and we'll have this done. So go on out there, try some watercolor. You know, it's something new. I really pride myself on trying to do a lot of different mediums. It keeps you sharp, and you learn a lot of stuff. and it's a lot of fun to do. So go on out there and give it a shot. You won't regret it. And until next time, go out and put some beauty back in the world, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Later.
Bye, everybody.